When you come home, what is the first thing you do? Most people walk in the door and flip on a light switch. But what if the lights did not light up? Ever since the Industrial Revolution, life expectancy, quality of life, and the United States economy has risen drastically, all due to the introduction of electricity. Without electricity, our lives would be completely different and would set back society for generations to come. This scenario could become a reality because fossil fuel energy is expected to be depleted in the next 34 to 70 years. The depletion of fossil fuels and efficient alternative energies will deem detrimental to the world unless the United States invests in an unlimited and renewable source called fusion energy. You might be wondering, what size of an impact is fossil fuel depletion actually having on companies that are based around these resources? From a recent update from BP, an article published in USA Today, BP raised its natural oil reserve by an estimated 1.1%, which is enough to only last the United States for 53.3 more years. This shows these companies cannot be sustained forever, especially if our consumption of fossil fuels keeps rising. We need to find a clean and limitless energy source that will sustain future generations. We believe the solution is investing in fusion energy.
Fusion. It's how the sun makes energy. And every day the sun sends out an enormous amount of energy and provides more energy in 1 hour than the entire U.S. can use in a year. Now imagine if we could recreate even a fraction of that energy using the same process the sun does.
Fusion energy, once viewed as science fiction, is now becoming a reality. With this innovative technology, scientists have figured out how to generate more energy than is put into the mechanism. As of now, every conventional energy source currently produces less energy than is put in. A fusion reactor works by combining two nuclei into one heavier nuclei, releasing energy in the process, which is exactly how the sun produces its energy. This energy source is a very probable source of energy once fossil fuels become extinct. Since the depletion of fossil fuels is such an important topic, we decided to find out if UK students knew anything about it. Here's what we found. Very few students thought it was a major concern, and many had no idea when fossil fuels would run out. The data we collected found that the students' average ranking of the importance of fossil fuels became extinct was an 8.05 out of 10. Only one person was in the right range of when fossil fuels will become extinct, 34 to 70 years, and two others were close, but the majority was significantly off, with the most common guess being between 2,500 years to 5,000 years. This is frightening because the future leaders of the world who will be alive in 50 years have no idea that this major problem is occurring in our country. The threat the world is facing is how fossil fuels are depleting and how there is currently a lack of efficient alternative energy being used. According to the journal published in the Energy Policy, during the next 30 years, there will be more fossil fuel consumption than that of the entire industrial age combined. As countries are becoming more dependent on technology, energy consumption is increasing, resulting in the rate of fossil fuel depletion also increasing. This is a problem for society because fossil fuels provide the majority of electricity to the world. Therefore, electricity would not become commercially available. If fossil fuel energy is taken away, we would have to rely solely upon alternative energy. So we wondered what the students of the University of Kentucky knew about alternative energy. Let's see their thoughts.
Educated on the topic of fossil fuels, but I know that it has something to do with gas and smoke and fumes and stuff. do?
I don't think it's an important issue right now. I think there are other more important issues to focus on.
I'm aware of renewable energy sources like windmills and solar panels.
Overall, the students we asked on campus knew very little about the topic of alternative energy, and it seemed as if most students had never been exposed to the information about this threat before. So what if we completely rely on alternative energy sources such as wind, hydroelectric, and solar? Consider wind and water turbines as well as solar panels rely completely on the elements. They are only effective at certain times, which means they are inconsistent energy sources. They still require fossil fuel backup.
Solar power is not a constant source of energy as it varies by time of day, weather, and season. Energy storage is also very important for solar energy, and unfortunately it is both expensive and technologically challenging.
I sat down with Bruce Burke, a professional electrical engineer, and he gave me some valuable information about alternative energy. Let's listen to what he said.
How do you think the world would survive without the burning of fossil fuels?
I would say it's not impossible, but everyone's going to have to cut back on a lot of the luxuries we have now. Just roughly, if you look at fossil fuels and the makeup of today, if you combine coal, natural gas, and oil, they account for about 60 to 70% of electric generation.
Why do you think, as a society, we are not more reliant upon alternative energy already?
The problem there is solar is about 25 to 30%, and then wind is about 25%. Two things there: capacity factor and its availability makes them; those are big disadvantages for them. And then, particularly with wind, it's controllability if you're looking at it on a large scale.
Have you ever heard of fusion energy?
Yeah, I know just enough about it to kind of know it's alternative to fission, which is the traditional nuclear energy. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how advanced it is, but I think that because of its efficiency, you have at least less of an environmental issue there. And I guess I'm puzzled. It seems to be the better way to go, why we aren't investing more and looking at that alternative. So.
Nuclear fusion is the future for producing electricity. The problem is the lack of knowledge on fusion energy. Nuclear fusion reactions occur when two lighter atoms come together, releasing huge amounts of energy. This is the most probable solution to create an energy source to completely rely on without having to utilize fossil fuels. Nuclear fusion is the process the sun and other stars use to power themselves. Fusion energy creates around 10 million times more energy than traditional chemical reactions. Although this is the most effective way to obtain large amounts of energy, there are many controversies that surround it. The cost of nuclear fusion reactors are very expensive, and the dangers that come with the chemistry involved could pose a threat in the eyes of the government officials. But will the cost management be at the center of our issues in 2050 when our current fossil fuel energy completely runs out? No one can deny that fossil fuels will run out. The most viable way for the U.S. to support its population is to provide energy through nuclear fusion. Investing in current alternative energy is not the way to invest in the future. When fusion energy becomes commercially available, it will change the way the world is powered, and there will no longer be the threat of unsustainable energy production.